Okay, so we're gonna go through this book first and then we'll do our papers. So we're gonna go through this book and I'm just going to go through some highlighted points. So who can serve as a proctor? Proctors serve as additional monitors to help test administrators assure that correct testing policies and procedures are followed, which ensure a fair and equitable testing experience for all students. Proctors should not be assigned to rooms where their relatives or wards are being tested. And I sent you guys out the document, and I think most everyone's okay. We're not testing in any rooms where your relatives are, right?
Right.
We're all good with that? Okay. And then if there's any close family members to you in that room, just let me know so I can switch your proctors. We'll look at a testing code of ethics at the end. Maintaining security at all times. School personnel and proctors must neither disclose the contents of the secure test nor discuss with each other or students any specific test questions or information contained with the test or write about them on the internet or social media. Proctors are not allowed to distribute or collect materials, redirections, or provide any type of assistance to students during the test session, except taking them to the bathroom, which is a great help to the test administrators during the test. Ensuring physical conditions in testing room are appropriate. This is something that has changed this year. Personal cell phones and all other electronic devices must not be used during the test administration, including breaks. So all cell phones, including test administrators and proctors, are going to be collected into a bag and they'll be kept in the room. There was some discussion about me collecting everyone's, but just in case of an emergency, if you guys needed them, I wanted y'all to have access to them. But the proctors, the test administrators, and all students, smartwatches, cell phones, they're going to be collected. They'll be in a Ziploc bag and they'll keep them somewhere in the room. But that is something that is different this year. All rooms, any displays related to the content being measured or test taking strategies must be covered or removed. So this is where you guys can really help me a lot just looking in the classrooms. So something else that's changed is last year we had people leave up like the calendars and ABCs. Even that stuff has to come down this year. So if you guys, I might even get you to check with me just before testing, just walk through the room that you're going to be testing in, especially some of you that are going to be testing early. Well, all of you will be, but you know, in the encore room, some of us are going to be out in the modulars. If you guys will just help check behind me and just make sure we have everything taken down, even the calendars, you know, ABCs, anything content related. I'm trying to look in here and see what would need to be taken down. But anything like that we need to have taken down. Students are not allowed to use or have their possession cell phone or any electronic devices. If the test administrator or proctor believes a cell phone or electronic device was used during the test administration to store or exchange information to make an image of the test device must be collected from the student and the school test administrator contacted immediately. So if you do see someone with a cell phone or you think that they are using a cell phone, contact me immediately, and then we have to all get together, we'll pause their test, and that is a test misadministration for that student. But for the whole class, it's just a testing irregularity. So, you know, remember back in the day where they used to say, we'll have to come in on a Saturday and retake the test. We don't actually have to do that, but it will be a test irregularity. That one student will have to retake the test though. So if you see a cell phone, just let me know immediately so we can get that figured out. So on page 3, assisting students with emergencies and restroom break. If a student must leave the room during a test administration because of an emergency, proctor should assist the test administrator as appropriate so the situation can be handled with as little disturbance to the other students as possible. One thing that you guys should be looking for in the classroom is when the student leaves, the teacher should write down the time that they leave and then when they come back, so that way they can give that time back to the student. So if you don't see the test administrator do that, you can just remind them, hey, make sure you write down their time. Just remind them about that if you don't see them doing that. Ensuring the accommodations are provided appropriately. Some of the accommodations that you may see when we're testing early, and we'll write this down in a little bit, are multiple testing sessions, which are breaks every 30 minutes. You'll see small group testing, which are 10 students or less. Some of you guys will see one-on-one testing, which is just one student and one test administrator and one proctor. Test read aloud, this is different this year. I'm not sure if you guys know about this or not, but all students this year in grades 3 through 5 get test read aloud. But it has to be specified for our EC and 504 and ML and EL students. On their plan, it has to be specified read aloud. So you might see your students going around and clicking that button, and it's because it's reading it out loud for them. And that's only on your math and science test. It won't be for reading. So small group, one-on-one, read aloud, multiple test sessions. Which ones am I forgetting? I think that's it. So if I think of any more, then I'll tell you guys. But those are the main ones that we have here. There are other ones, but our students in banks don't usually receive those. Reporting all testing irregularities. If you see anything that's an irregularity, just go ahead and report it to me right away, so that way we can get it taken care of and I can file a report. And then maintaining student confidentiality. After the test, make sure your test administrator is not broadcasting any student scores if they get them. Now the teachers can get the scores sometimes the same day, but usually the day after. So we want to make sure that they're not broadcasting the scores to all of our students at any time. All right, page 6. Here are the violations, irregularities, and misadministrations. So electronic devices, personal belongings, and testing aids. So personal belongings, this is something that's also different this year. We used to keep them at their desk, but they have to be moved to the front of the room now. So just remind your test administrator at the beginning of the test to move all their stuff at the front. I didn't say this earlier, but whenever you guys get here, I know we used to go to the classrooms and then go down here. If you need to go put your stuff in your classroom, after that, just go ahead and report to your testing site, even if it's 8 o'clock. Go ahead and start helping them go to the bathroom. Go ahead and start doing all of that. That way we can start right at 8:30. Last year we started testing a little bit later. Everyone wasn't exactly in place, and so some of our testing sessions went a little bit later. We actually had one student that had to stay beyond the school day. So we don't want that to happen again this year. So just go ahead and drop your stuff off in your classroom and go ahead and go to your testing site at 8 o'clock, and then we'll start right at 8:30. So you guys can take the whole classrooms to the bathroom before, because the teachers have to log them in themselves. The students can't log themselves in. The teachers have to log every single student in. So they'll start doing that around 7:45, 8 once they check out their materials from me. And I know that's going to be hard for your teachers. I hate it for them, but just go ahead and let them know you'll have to go to your testing site right when the day starts. The students can read a book after they're done, but it can't be a textbook. For example, one of those Rigby readers, they can't read one of those books, but they can read a novel type book, but they can't have it at their seat. They have to have it at the back of the room. And I know 5th grade does a really good job about this. They'll just label it with a sticky note. So when they're done with their test, their teacher will just get it and bring it to them. When I was in the classroom, and when some of you were in the classroom, they just could keep it under their desk and then pull it out after. But again, that's changed. DPI has changed a lot this year. This past year, DPI has made more changes than they have in a while. So just don't keep it at their desk. Just make sure it's in the back of the room. All right, and some misadministrations that could happen if we don't test the right students, or if we don't give the opportunity to students to test, if the wrong accommodation is provided, if teachers are sharing their password, that's a misadministration. Failing to secure the test materials in a secure locked facility, discussing with others the test questions. If we are failing to monitor students, so if we're not walking around and monitoring them, that's a test administration, misadministration. If we are paraphrasing, omitting, revising, interpreting, explaining, or rewriting the script, directions, or the test questions, including answer choices. and failing to administer the test on the approved date or during the testing window. Those are just a few on here. If you guys want to look over those more in depth, those are just really the biggest ones on here that could come up during the testing session. And then our last part of this book is the testing code of ethics, and you guys will sign this shortly, but the testing code of ethics is just what you sign. That basically is attached to essentially our jobs. It says all of the things that you can and cannot do during the test, all of the things that I'm supposed to do as the testing school coordinator. And then at the back, it says in the violation of this rule, what they can do is withhold any monetary incentive awards, file a civil action against the person that violates any of these code of ethics, seek criminal prosecution, and suspend or revoke a professional license. So just make sure you read over your testing code of ethics. I gave you guys a stapled one that you can keep. I just need the one that's signed so you guys can read through it. Just make sure that no one is talking to the students and talking to them about the test questions, paraphrasing, or leading them in the direction of what the answer could be. And now we can fill out our paperwork. Miss Bruce, will you pause that? Or will you turn it off for me, please?